Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jordan with Modular Head Shop. This is going to be my first YouTube video. So how did I get here? I was contacted by Andrew from Mustang Lifestyle sometime last year. He asked me, could I build him an engine and could we film it? I said, sure. Never really been on camera before. First video was kind of weird. Second video I had a ton of fun with, and then after that it was just ton of fun. I felt like I had a good reaction from a lot of people. A lot of people enjoyed the tech info, and so that's why I'm here. That's why I've started this channel. So the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you to everybody for all your support over the years. Last year was 10 years I've been in business. So that might sound weird. I know I look pretty young, but yes, 10 years. And even recently, through this COVID-19 stuff, we have really appreciated everybody's support. I thought when stuff started shutting down, I was really worried about having to lay off employees, and to me, that's like the most important thing. I don't ever want to have to do that. And so thank you to everybody for your continued orders and your continued support. You have no idea how much that means to me. So here's just a little quick background on how I've got, kind of where I am with the modular head shop stuff. So I did not start Modular Head Shop. I simply purchased the rights to the company from Nick McKinney, and so I will get to that in just a minute. I will just start off from the beginning though. 31 right now. I started this company in 2009. The main company is Excessive Motorsports LLC, and I really started the company with the intention of building a badass website, something that's easy to navigate. I worked on this thing every single night till 2 or 3 in the morning after working a day job and or going to community college for a little while. Quit community college, just wasn't for me. And I started working for Nick, just doing some consulting work and some sales stuff. And I was into the mod motors, but I didn't know a ton. So as I was growing Excessive and adding parts to my website and doing a little hustling and stuff on certain websites like Corral or SVT Performance, I was working with Nick and doing a lot of stuff that he didn't want to do. Sales calls, emails, and stuff like that. And then, it got to a point where I moved shops and I got into a bigger shop right next door. Now I have all 3 shops. And Nick was in my shop for a little while and just renting space for me. I was no longer helping him with the business, but he was struggling and he just had a ton of orders backed up. And I mean like 30 or 40 sets of heads. And I knew he wasn't doing very well, and I knew he probably wanted to get out of it. And to me, that's what I was missing. I was missing control over the cylinder head game. I knew what I wanted. I was doing a lot of short blocks and stuff like that. So, I put some cash aside and asked him, is he interested in me taking over? And he had just screwed up somebody's cylinder heads pretty bad, and he was not a very liked person in the community at that point. Just simply for that reason. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just making poor business decisions. So anyways, in the fall of 2012, I purchased MHS from Nick. And at that point, he was really my only employee. And so, when I took over MHS, I really wasn't proud of the name. I knew he had pissed some people off, and it wasn't like a forgivable piss off. It was a you should have cared more pissed off. So I wasn't really into wearing Modular Head Shop t-shirts or really promoting the brand. I'm here to fix this brand. And that was a little kind of depressing for me. But we started doing pretty good. I was getting compliments from guys online. Hey, since Jordan's taken over, things are much better. This kid's doing a great job. And that was more inspiring to me. So, kept on keeping on. And Nick was porting all the heads. He was porting all the heads, valve jobbing them. I was just putting them together. Me and one of my employees, this guy Omar, who's still one of my good buddies to this day. So we were putting heads together in my cylinder head assembly room, or my engine assembly room. We did everything in one room. It was crazy. And me and this guy could put some heads together. Not hauling ass, but doing stuff the right way, but we could still get it done real quick. And at that time, the phone wasn't really ringing, so it was very peaceful, and we really enjoyed it. So, fast forward into 2015, and we got a lot of orders going. We got a huge board on the wall in the office, and it's just filled up all the time. Cam orders, cylinder head orders, bing, bing, bing. And so Nick's still knocking a lot of cylinder heads out for me, but I knew something was up, and just really wasn't himself. And so one morning my phone rings. It's a guy that works part-time for me and works part-time for Nick, and sure enough, Nick killed himself. One morning in June of 2015. Actually, I couldn't tell you the day. I built this chair. This Kirky, my office chair here. OG Kirky seat, June 2015. This is the same seat I've used since that day. And that day sucked. And that was, I pretty much lost my only employee. He was the talent there. I'm doing some short box and some part sales, but a lot of it is modular head shop stuff. And if I had a question here or there, I had somebody to ask. And from that day forward, I really haven't had anybody to ask. And so I've had to do a lot of thinking for myself and a lot of learning the hard way. And I think that is why I'm at least I feel like I am very good at explaining stuff to people. And I want to help other people. Believe me, I don't want people to struggle like I have. So after Nick killed himself, it was a big financial burden. I had to figure out how I'm going to get all these cylinder heads ported and do some private label CNC stuff. And it was not easy. It was not easy. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I would never want to do it again. I should have just walked away then and kind of started over. But anyways, I'm here now. I've survived all the bullshit. So, growing up, I really liked cars, but really nobody in my family knows anything about cars, so I'm kind of on my own. Did work at a shop for a little while, and things just were not ran very well there. So, a lot of these parts I've either acquired from Nick's passing and learned how to use them very, very well, or I have just wanted to learn how to do something so bad I bought the equipment and did it myself. So for instance, TIG welding. I've never had any help TIG welding. A couple things I watched on YouTube, and that's it. I bought a Miller intercooled Dynasty 200DX, brand new, without knowing how to weld. And I taught myself. And I think there's probably 25 or 2,600 hours of pedal time on that machine right now. And I'm not the best in the world, but I can hang with some really good welders. So, little advice to somebody: if you want it bad enough, just go learn how to do it. You'll figure it out at some point. Same thing with porting. So I wanted to get into porting when Nick was still my main employee at Modular Head Shop. I didn't want him to kind of dictate everything forever, and he kind of made that decision for himself, unfortunately. But I wanted to learn how to port. I knew what I wanted to do. It's just getting the pen to the paper. So he gave me a lesson on porting for about 5 minutes, and I ported this Victor Jr. back in about 2013, and it killed me. And I would always hear about him complain about his shoulder and his elbow hurting. And I'll tell you what, porting is rough. Porting is real rough. I will say I enjoy it now more than I ever have, but I only enjoy prototyping and doing intake manifold stuff. I could not do ported cylinder head production by hand. It is just too rough on your body. But I've spent thousands of hours porting and changing different things and going over CNC programs and stuff like that to get to where my porting is pretty good too. So now the CNC stuff is the same thing. I mean, we got 5 or 6 days worth of training, and other than that, I've kind of had to do a lot of the CNC stuff by myself. And when you are the boss and you are the one making the final decision, that's it. You don't get to ask anybody else, oh, is this good or not? You better know if it is or isn't, and that's extremely stressful. So anyways, fast forward to now, I have my dream machine. I never thought I would have my dream machine, because back after Nick died, it wasn't very easy for me financially. And we were so busy. I had a GTO, heads cam GTO, and I enjoyed that, even though I was building Ford modulars. I'm not a LS fan by any means, but it's a comfortable car. It was fun to drive. Ended up overheating in traffic, and it's been outside for the last 4 years. I daily drove my street glide. I have a 2015 Harley Street Glide. That's kind of my wind therapy / mental health vehicle that I ride about once a month right now, but it was my daily for over 1.5 years. And simply because I wasn't going to get rid of the one thing that lets me relax. But I also, with payroll the way it was, I didn't have any extra cash to get something new, and I didn't have any extra time to fix my stuff. So that sacrifice of time, I feel like, has helped me accelerate the business, because now, I have the truck that I want. I just don't have a lot of extra time. But anyways, now I've built a company that I feel like I should be proud of. I'm proud to wear a modular head shop shirt. I think I have an excellent crew. We're all pretty young for what we're doing. But we put out some badass products, and not always with the best equipment. Some of my my crank balancer and my seam guide machine, that's all kind of old stuff. Just got some newer tooling, and I like that. And sooner than later, I'm gonna buy some really nice equipment, and then it's gonna be cakewalk. But I'll talk about the equipment stuff here in a little bit. So, over these last 10 years, I've probably averaged 70 to 75 hours a week. And for at least one of those years, it's been, I probably averaged over 80 hours a week. I would leave the shop at midnight most nights, and, the one person I have to thank for, keeping me motivated is Dave. And if you watched any of the Mustang Lifestyle videos, David McManamy, what a great friend, probably my best friend. He has lived at my shop for almost 8 years now. This August will be 8 years. He was homeless, and Nick met him at a park, and Nick asked him for some, and I like Polar Pops. Nick asked him for some, he asked him if he wanted to get some, side work, doing some landscaping, and he said sure. And I remember Nick telling me, like, hey man, I had this homeless guy come by today. He's like working on my bushes, and he's so meticulous and doing such a good job. Like, I think I'm gonna ask him if he wants to learn how to do some machine work. So Dave, just had a bad time in his life, and that's why he was homeless. But he's a very smart guy, and he's very skilled at what he does, very meticulous. So he actually ended up moving into a shed that Nick had in his backyard that Nick was doing some port work at. And then Nick moved to the other side of town. He had nowhere to go. I told him to come over here and stay here. So it's great. He helps me around the shop all day long. If I'm pissed off about something, he usually can calm me down. He's been here every night. All those nights I've worked till midnight, whether it be working on a car or working on an engine, he's always here to help me. 24-hour security. Pretty much boxes up every single cylinder head, every single engine crate he puts together. So definitely owe this man a lot of thanks. So, you know, lately we have just been overwhelmed with work. And I mean, sometimes the phone is ringing. Both phones are ringing constantly at sometimes. It's not like that all the time, but it is. And it's overwhelming. And at point, you know, there's points where I just can't even think. So the only reason, or the only way to get rid of some of that is to lighten my workload. And so I haven't really done that. I've raised my prices over the years, but it still hasn't really lightened my workload. So I'm gonna touch on that, but before I do that, I'm just gonna go over a little bit of a rant. I want to talk about this now because I'm sure some people watching this have already seen this on Facebook. Yeah, I did post a rant on Thursday. I was just really frustrated. It's been my same frustration for a long time. And so here it goes. It's been fueled by months of frustration combined with a really rude customer the other morning in an email. And it's like people think that I'm not human, or I'm either all the time in the assembly room working on only their stuff, or I'm all the time just waiting for their phone call, and people get frustrated when they can't talk to me right away, you know. But the reality is I'm here 6 to 7 days a week. The reality is I'm here no later than 9 a.m. in the mornings, and I leave no earlier than 7 p.m. in the evening. Very rare. I'm more inclined to come home after 9 p.m. than get home before 7 p.m. All right? So, however, this last Wednesday I left around 3:30 to go help a customer with a private track rental test and tune. And we get there and we get my nice new tent set up, which it looks awesome. Josh at Red Tie Canopies got my tent out last week for me. Looks awesome. Thank you, bro. So get the tent set up. And my buddy Travis posts a picture of us out there with the tent, and sure enough, boom, 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 my phone's blowing up on Facebook Messenger. And some of it's people asking questions about their stuff, haven't been able to work on their stuff. Some of it is stupid questions where they're pretty much asking that, but they're saying it in a nicer way and just beating around the bush. Either way, I'm at the track, I'm trying to get stuff done, and this is constantly the problem. If I post something about a meal I'm having on a Friday night at 9 o'clock, somebody's going to ask me, hey, how's my stuff going? And you know what? That pisses me off. It's almost an invasion of privacy. It's like, man, can I not go do something for myself without having to tell you where your stuff is? And it's a constant deal. And so, I'm already frustrated about that. And it's not just one or two people. It's a bunch of people all the time. And one of my biggest complaints is when you're getting close to being finished with somebody's build, that customer, if they have your cell phone or if they're on your Facebook, they'll message you, hey man, you got a tracking number for my engine? Now why the hell would I have a tracking number for your engine when you still owe $4,000 on it? That's a serious question, and that is a serious issue that happens here. And I'm sure other people say it. So anyways, I get back to the shop the next morning, and I got this rude email, and at this point, I am just overwhelmed with everything. I'm trying to have a good, productive day. That does not happen when I just feel like everybody is here to give me a hard time. So I put my thoughts out there. There's been plenty of times I've written something like this and just deleted it. I don't need this, bad publicity or whatever. But I'm to the point where, it's affecting my mental health, and I'm going to say something about it because everybody does it. And so, I know how it feels, and so I try not to do that to a lot of my vendors, and that's why they love me. That is the number one reason why I have a great relationship with the same vendors I've had relationships for almost 10 years, okay? It's because I don't hound them the way a lot of our customers hound me. So, I go and I post this, and, the first thing I see is another engine builder, and his comment is, "Preach, brother." So right then and there, I'm like, okay, wow, I thought I'm going to get some bad responses to this, but no, I'm definitely not the only one that feels like this. And so then I got messages and messages and messages of people that I highly respect, and I don't need to even name names. They're people that are known in the modular community and just all around in the fast car community. Guys that bust their ass every single day, guys that have legitimate businesses like I do, guys that pay their taxes, guys that put food in their employees' mouths, and they're all telling me, yeah, I got the same problem. Well, I'm tired of feeling like that, okay? I am not going to feel like that. I busted my ass. I put out a good product. If you watch any of my videos, that wasn't just for the camera. I pay that much attention to detail all the time. That's a little bit of an OCD thing, but that's what you're getting. And so when you're getting that kind of treatment, I don't want you up my ass. And so I feel like no matter what, and after talking to a couple other people that I highly respect, they say they have the same problem. Can't even take a picture going out to dinner with my wife, and someone's up my ass about a tracking number. 9 o'clock at night is what one of my buddies said. So the only way that I feel like I can get product development done and I can work on some future projects for myself and not get hounded about it is to not have any open orders. So that's what I'm doing. Whatever's in my engine building queue, whether it be a short block or a long block package, they're going to be finished. They'll be finished in a timely manner. They'll be finished with the same love I give everybody's stuff. Okay? But after that, I'm not going to have any open orders. And I feel like that will make me a much happier person. I can get back to enjoying what I want. I can get back to developing badass products that I know my customers want. And it's a win-win for everybody. So I will continue to build, but I'm going to build what I want. No timeline means I can put it together when I want, put it together how I want. I can do it without being rushed. And it's a win-win for everybody. The customer wins. There's no wait. I win. I don't have to answer to the customer the whole time. And I get to build it without being rushed, being nice and relaxed, and the customer gets the best possible product from me. So with that being said, I'm not taking a break from the business. I'm just taking a break from builds. My overall goal is to help people more with their builds and put good combinations together. I am so sick and tired of, and it's all day long, 7 to 8 hours a day I'm on the phone, and guys are giving me all these sob stories about, well, I bought these cams, and then I bought these cams, and then I bought these cams, and this guy spec'd these cams out for me. Or, they have a cylinder head that works with this intake manifold, but they don't have that intake manifold. They just have a bunch of stuff that doesn't work together. I have so many good combos that I've done over the years. I could pretty much give anybody a good combo that's going to run good. I know your tuner's not going to bitch about tuning it, and that's what I want to start doing. I'm also going to start getting into small part CNC. So I obviously have a 5-axis CNC porting machine. It does only hold 6 tools, so it's primarily a porting machine, but it does have other capabilities. And so it actually even has the capability of sleeving blocks. So that's one thing I might try with this machine. If not, if I'm so busy with cylinder heads to where I don't want to be moving fixtures back and forth, then I will simply get another machine. But one thing I do want to break into is billet intake manifold machining. And I actually have a surprise that I forgot to go grab But I'm gonna go grab it real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna have to teach myself about is how to machine raw castings. And that should be quite I don't think a challenge, but more of an adventure. And so, you know, that's some kind of content that I wanna get on YouTube. You know, I've searched and you can't find certain content on YouTube. And so, you know, I want everybody to kind of learn with me. This is going to be a learning experience for me. Kind of, you know, I think it'd be cool to kind of experience that with us. So, you know, my first project, before I get into like billet intake manifolds and stuff, is we are going to bring back the HPS Hardballr. So, I've been talking to Bob from HPS for, shoot, probably a little bit on and off the last year. I wanted to do this earlier, and I was trying to get to a point where I could, and it never happened. And so this is another reason I'm kind of taking a step back. I have got to work on product development. There are so many guys that want this intake manifold for their 5.4 trucks, and you know, it's in my hands now, and I'm gonna make it happen. However, so you know, Bob still has all the dies and all the casting stuff to have the intake manifolds casted, but I'm going to have to finish machine them, and that's something that I've never really done before. So if you look how the manifold comes, I'm just sitting here on my desk. All right, nothing's machined. These would be your injector holes. Okay. Then we have a bunch of other mounts. You can see the thermostat entrance is not machined. The plenum holes, nothing's machined. And so I do think that a lot of this stuff can easily be machined. And I'm going to try to do most of the bolt holes with thread milling. And so for those of you that don't know, you know, a thread mill is not like a tap. You're going down and interpolating the hole and actually cutting the thread as you're, you know, spiraling down. And it's a lot easier for production work because if something breaks, you know, the thread mill just falls. It doesn't get stuck in there like a tap. So probably do a lot of work there. I might do a ported version to match our cylinder heads, which would be cool. And, you know, hopefully make a lot of the 5.4 guys really, really happy. And best of all, you know, 100% made in America. And that's another thing I want to try to get back to. You know, there's a lot of parts that are made in China, and I'm kind of sick of using them. It just annoys me to see a made in China sticker on some of these engine parts. So, you know, obviously some of the offshore parts are needed to stay within people's budgets, and I respect that. However, you know, I feel like the engine builder should have their choice as well. So I will say that, you know, at this point, I will be taking on some other, some projects, but any of those projects will have an American-made connecting rod in them, and I will do my best to source every single part from North America. I would like to see more manufacturing on our shores, and there, you know, I'd like to see other, you know, Americans like me, you know, be proud to buy a product that your fellow Americans made. I mean, a lot goes into just one product. You have to think, you know, I wrote something earlier on pistons, and then I kind of deleted it, but I kind of want to get to this. For instance, like, you know, Wiseco pistons, they make everything from the bar all the way to putting it in the box. There's even more than that goes into it. You have guys that are working at the place that extrudes the aluminum. Then you got the guys that are loading it. Then you got the guys that are driving it to its final destination, then the guys that are unloading it there, then the guys that are saw cutting it, then the guys that are working in the forging house, then engineering and sales, then rough machining, then final machining, then QC, then the coating cell, then kit pack. There are a ton of Americans touching the same part. There's no reason why we can't make other parts that go into the engine stateside as well. So I'm going to get my feet wet with these castings, and then I want to get into billet intake manifolds and some other billet engine parts. And I'm really going to try to focus on fixturing, long cycle fixturing, to where, you know, your CNC operator can load 50 or 60 parts. They run for 5 or 6 hours and then they're done, or they go to a second operation, not onesie twosie stuff. So I want to get into more production stuff like that. But my overall goal is to one day I want to build a 5300 bore space 4-valve engine with a Coyote style head on it. 3D scan or something the Coyote head, or take some ports that I have digitized and literally just stretch them out, and I think that could be an amazing project. Another thing I'm going to try to do is get my CNC set up for sleeving blocks. I currently have to send blocks out for sleeving, and if I could get a good production line set up for that, then that's something I can offer everybody as well. And that's one of my overall goals, is to be able to provide, you know, block sleeving services. You know, I think that's a reality, and we can film the whole thing and show everybody, you know, what all goes into it. A lot of guys have no idea what all goes into it. There's a ton of different processes. So the last thing I'm going to do is just give guys a couple you know, quick things about what I plan to do with the YouTube channel. Definitely going to do some tech tips. If there's anything you know, somebody wants covered, just comment with what you want covered, and I will consider doing it. You know, obviously I'm going to do the more popular things to cover, but I will always consider it. So if you have anything, just put it in the comments. Same thing with build recipes. It's the same thing with, you know, problems just putting together a good combination. I know a lot of combinations that work because I've put so many together over the years. So I want to do some build recipes, and then I want to kind of feature them on, you know, on a then want to feature them in a video, and then we'll go over and I'll explain, you know, why I suggest this part for this, why I suggest that part for that, and then we'll have it all listed on the website for you. So I've already done that with Andrews. That's going to be in my next video, and we're just going to, you'll be able to, everything I use for Andrew's build, you'll be able to find in a category on our website. So as we get more and we do more YouTube videos, all those parts will be available per episode on our website. So I think that will be pretty cool as well. The last thing I, you know, plan on doing, it may be later this year or early next year. I will be building an engine for myself. I've already ordered the pistons. It will be a Gen 3 Coyote. I'm currently working on some Gen 3 Coyote cylinder heads, and the Voodoo head is very similar to the Coyote, the Gen 3. It's actually just a little bit smaller as far as port volume goes, but the exact same design. So I will be using Gen 3 heads to practice on until I get the program finished. I will be showing some of you, I will be showing y'all some of that as well. And pretty much I'm going to build my own Gen 3 Coyote on the side. And then I'll go out and I'll buy a 19 or a 20. And I pretty much think I have a good combination to build a 7-second capable streetcar. Not going to be a daily, but it's going to be a full weight streetcar, AC, power steering, all the good stuff. I think I have the combination for it. So It will be either twin screw supercharged or twin turbo. If it's twin turbo, I'll probably do most of the fabrication work myself, including the headers, flanges, intercooler. So if that's something that y'all would like to see, you know, let me know in the comments, and that will definitely help my decision. I'm not going to get into any major projects until I get finished with, you know, my business obligations. But we will be doing tech videos. I want to start off about 1 tech video a week, and I'm just going to kind of go off of what y'all suggest, what y'all want to see. Give me some suggestions, and I will do my best to cover that topic. Appreciate you guys watching. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, you know, the best way to support me is like the video, share the video, and buy a hat or t-shirt off our website. Appreciate it. Thank you.